Welcome to South Florida saltwater fishing. I'm Heath, and it's time to get into the bite.
Wahoo in the boat, baby! That kingfish right there. Oh, there we go. I mean, you talk about epic fishing days. Yeah! Nice bull dolphin right there. Double header! Woohoo! Look at that mud snapper!
Alright folks, this episode is part 3 of the series I like to call The Reality of Fishing. Before we get into this though, if you want to learn more about fishing, grab as an angler, or just see some great exciting offshore fishing adventures, you can start by hitting the subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you won't miss a thing. Alright folks, so like I said, part 3 of The Reality of Fishing. Headed out with my buddy Blake, who's a great friend of the channel. He hit me up and said, hey, we're going out for 2 days over the weekend. We're really close to a full moon. Would you like to go? We want to try and target Wahoo. I checked the moon phase. We're at an 82% waxing moon, which means it's heading towards full moon. Check the tide chart. We'll have an outgoing tide early in the morning at first light. Couldn't have a more perfect scenario for fishing for Wahoo. So we headed over to Blake's house, hopped on his boat, and started heading towards Port Everglades just before dawn. So the first day that we headed out, it was just myself, Blake, and our buddy Josh. All quality fishermen, and we all got our chops down. And this aspect of it makes it easy to sort of know what the next step is going to be by each person. Whether they're going to be reeling in, whether they're on a gaff, or to take control of the steering and help us get this fish in the boat. So the day started out, we had a strong northeast wind, solid 10 knots, gusting between 15 and 20. And northeast winds always makes fishing a little bit more difficult. However, we did have a very eventful day. We got hooked up and we caught a tuna out deep looking for Wahoo. Once we got up just north of Hillsborough Inlet, we decided to turn back around. We said, hey, it's a little bit after 9 o'clock. Let's go in shallower, see if we can pick off some kingfish or something. The Wahoo don't seem to be biting. And before you know it, we had a kingfish on the line.
I'm good, Blake.
Yeah,
have to touch it.
oh yeah.
So that was a nice king mackerel. You know, the day's really good. So far we've got 2 kingfish and 1 blackfin tuna in the bucket. But we keep on heading out deep, making these big swooping turns in hope of getting the Wahoo. The next thing you know, we got a whopper of a fish on the line. There you have it, nice jumbo-sized cuda to cap off the day. At that point in time, it was time to call it quits for today, head in because we knew we were going out the next day. And the hope is that we'll have a little better luck when it comes to our targeted fish, the Wahoo. So real quick, I want to explain something about Wahoo fishing. You want to have some planers out, unless you're high-speed trolling. So you want to troll 2 planers. The rule of trolling 2 planers is you got to have 2 different sizes. In this particular scenario, we are trolling a size 4/6 and a size 8, which means we're down around 50 feet and we're down around 80 to 90 feet on the size 8. Here's how this works when you're trolling 2 planers, and you got to follow these rules, otherwise you're going to get tangled up and you're going to have a nasty mess that could potentially end your planer trolling for today. So we've got our boat. So out here we've got our 2 planer rods. Your smaller of your 2 planers, in our case it's the 4/6, has to be out further. There's a planer, and then you've got a 100-foot leader. Your larger of your 2 planers, which is our size 8, has to be in shorter. And then you've got your 100-foot leader. If you don't do this, if you have your smaller planer in closer and your larger planer out further, you will get tangled, and you should be trolling with braid with planers, and that's going to make for a nasty mess. And so the next morning arrives and we're all anxious, we're excited. We've got, again, great conditions for wahoo fishing. This day, however, we got a little bit more of a packed boat. We've got myself, we've got Blake, we've got Josh, we've got both their fathers. We've got Blake's dad, Robert, and we've got Josh's dad, Lenny. And then we've got the young man who needs no introduction, my son, the fish slayer. So again, we headed out at first light, trying to pick off wahoo. We're trolling the deep reef in between 200 and 350 feet, swooping back and forth, back and forth. And every once in a while we make a shallower sweep into about 150, 125, and then head back out deep. And on our initial setup, we get hit, and Josh is on the reel. He's winding in, and about 20, 30 yards away from the boat, fish popped off. And that's the reality right there. Sometimes it happens. You do lose fish. When you're reef trolling, again, you don't want to slow down. You want to pull these fish through the water and keep your other lines active. So we kept boogieing down, and the next thing we know, we got another reel zinging out, and we got Blake on the line. And he gets it up to the boat, and it's a false albacore. Not exactly our target species, but again, we're off to a great start today. Again, we're not out to catch 100 fish. We're not out to catch the giant sea monster. However, we are targeting a specific fish. It would be great if we get one that we haven't got yet, but we're still on the hunt. We got a few hours left. All right, folks, while we're out on the boat, really quickly, I want to touch base on protecting your skin while you're out on the water. When it comes to protecting your skin and the fishing apparel you're going to wear, there's 3 factors that I look for in a shirt. 1 is how comfortable is it? 2 is how durable is it? 3, is it going to protect me from the sun? If you're looking for the ultimate in protection, you're going to want to consider WindRider sun gear. Whether it's the Helios model or the Invictus Soul model, WindRider sun gear has some of the most top-notch fishing apparel on the market today. With UPF 50 material, has an integrated hood and gaiter for ultimate protection and stain-free shirt. Just look at this shirt. The other day I was out on the boat, we got into a ton of mahi. It looked like I worked at a slaughterhouse. A few days later, the shirt is ultra clean. That's the stain resistance protection you're looking for. That just proves its durability and how it's going to last throughout the elements. Make no doubt about it. It's okay to play in the sun, but it's never okay to play with the sun. WindRider sun gear, the ultimate in protection. So we set back out, and again, we're back on it, hitting the deep ledge of the reef. And next thing you know, bam, top water lure gets hit. We got Josh's dad, Lenny, on the board. And this is a team effort at this point. We're trying to get this fish in the boat. We can see that it's some sort of a tuna. We're hopeful that it's not a false albacore. Blackfin, little blackfin, there we go. So there you have it, blackfin tuna. We got dinner in the bucket, we're all happy campers. So these 2 days are going great. We are getting hit after hit after hit, yet we're not getting that fish that we're targeting. But we're not getting our spirits down because we're out there having fun, we're having a blast, and we are definitely into the bite. And so we set back out, and before we knew it, we had another fish on, a whopper of a fish. The planer rod is bending and we're getting peeled out. We got the fish slayer on the rod. And so he's winding on in, winding on in. It's taking forever. We're thinking this is the one. That's the bite we were looking for. We get it up to the boat, and lo and behold, what is it? It's a kingfish that got hit by a shark. And so there you go, more of the reality of fishing offshore. When you're targeting something, it happens. And so we kept at it. Again, we're heading north. Our current's going north. We're trying to pick off Wahoo. Before we know it, we got storms approaching left and right, and we're trying to thread the needle in between two of them. And just after we passed these storms, we saw a few birds, and we got whopped by a school of bonita. 4 lines going off simultaneously. Some of them popped off. We caught 2 out of the 4, I believe. But it was a great scenario to find where the calmer heads prevail. And in the spirit of some great fishing fun, we kept at it. Got our lines totally reset, got back at it. Before we knew it, we had another fish on the planer. Josh is bringing them in. And there we have it. I mean, we're in a hot kingfish bite over these last 2 days. We're pulling them in the boat. We're gonna fire up the smoker and make us some great dip. And that being said, it wasn't enough. We kept rigging up and getting back at it. So we got the lines in the water. We're starting to head towards the area where the freight liners are anchored just outside of Port Everglades. Great spot to troll by on the way back if your inlet is Port Everglades. And as we were rolling by, our size 8 planer got nailed. We got Blake back on the line, powerhousing this fish in. And as he got it up to the boat, there's another nice kingfish. We flopped him over the rail, and the next thing we know, one of the top lines got hit. Like I said, that's a great area to fish, is right near where those boats are docked if you're trolling. And so this fish is tight. We got Blake's dad, Robert, reeling him on in. So there you have it, nice bonita for Blake's dad. And what a way to cap off a 2-day fishing adventure. I'm talking tons of non-stop action between the false albacore, the kingfish, the blackfin tuna, the shark, the barracuda. It was awesome. However, we did not get our target species. And so this is what I'm talking about when I say the reality of fishing. We went out specifically trying to target Wahoo. We did not get a single Wahoo bite. All right, folks, that about does it for this episode. Hope you had fun, and I hope you enjoyed the story of the reality of fishing, part 3. Till next time, South Florida saltwater fishing, going wherever the cool wind takes us.